Happy belated podcast day, Vulkan Paladin.
Happy belated podcast day, Somicron.
Yes, we had to delay it a day because I was lazy and did not finish my homework.
Yes, understandable.
Yeah.
But don't let it happen again.
I'm gonna try. It's not my fault. There was an ESL thing on I had to watch. I just didn't have time to do any reading.
I mean, ESL didn't pick up until what? Sunday for you?
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, that's
But
all. I'm not going to say anything else. That's it.
yeah, but, I feel like the things you're not saying says an awful lot.
Anybody listening or watching will understand what's going on, and I think that's something we should just leave to the audience to interpret. That's great.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Man, speaking of ESL,
Yeah, man.
ESL Spring at Dallas. I mean, this is basically like a dream hack, right?
Sure. Why not? All the best players were there,
I mean,
unless they're in military.
I just feel like Dallas was always having dream hacks, and now we don't have dream hacks, but we still have ESL in Spring at Dallas.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Highly acceptable.
I even Googled for ESL Spring Dallas, and the second result was DreamHack Dallas. So
Yeah.
I feel vindicated.
So it's a new thing.
No, it's not new. It's just the seasonal premier tournament for ESL. Like there'll be
Yeah.
a winter, there'll be a spring, there'll be an autumn or a fall. I assume. I don't think it's
Sure.
new. I think they've been doing it for ages. It just feels like a dream hack because it's at Dallas this year.
Makes perfect sense. Some cities are DreamHack cities.
Yep.
Very true. Hoorah. All right. So, what do we want to talk about in ESL?
It's got to be the GOAT getting knocked out in the knockout stage. Rogue. Whew. Just.
Yeah, but what am I going to say here?
He got beat by Clem.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if he had beaten Clem, he would have had to face Gumio. If he beat Gumio and Hero, any one of those could have also knocked out Rogue. Because Rogue is really good, but he's not the GOAT.
I mean, again, this is a tiny, tiny little sliver here. Rogue's insane. Every time I cast Rogue, I'm always impressed with Rogue. Every time I watch a game with Rogue, I'm always impressed. He's incredible. But resume speaks for itself. Cyril is the GOAT. Not by a lot, just by a tiny bit, but he is.
So, if you aren't familiar, what I'm snarking around is Artosis had an opinion that Rogue is the actual GOAT, and Cyril, while really good, doesn't hold a candle to the level of tournament wins that Rogue has, because Rogue's won a bunch of GSLs, which even in, like, saying that, it's... Maru's right there with 8 GSL wins, 4 of them consecutive. If you're going to pick a Korean to be the GOAT, pick the one that's actually got the most GSL wins.
Whose name starts with an R. I mean, starts with an M. Sorry, we were talking about Rogue. Got confused.
Yeah.
M.
No, it's fine. Language is hard.
It is.
Anyway, I think the most important thing to mention here is we got a Maru Cyril final, which is supposed to be hype. I remember being hyped for these back in the day. Like
we were for years, for multiple premier tournaments in a row. We were like, we were robbed. No Maru Cyril. Oh no. And then we got one, and Cyril was like, slap, slap, slap. And we were like, oh.
So he slap, 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 4-0. And then the next one, slap, 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 4-0. And this one, slap, 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 4-0.
So, like, that's... I don't know, man. Like, Oliveira did better against Cyril than Maru did.
That made me really hopeful when, like, Oliveira still lost. He did it 2-3. And so I was like, okay, this is great. Cyril looks like he's vulnerable to Terran at the minute. And then Maru, who I would say is probably a better Terran than Oliveira, couldn't do anything.
Right.
Just couldn't touch the guy.
No, not at all. So this is Maru, though, right? Mm-hmm. For as great as Maru is, there are times in his career where, like, what the heck is going on with Maru goes through our heads, right?
Right. And
like, there are times when he plays against Stats, and Stats is just like, are you some mid-tier Terran? Like, what is going on here? And Maru's like, I don't know, and he just dies. It's like, what is going on?
I feel like there's going to be there's two explanations that are possible. When it's in a GSL and Maru can't perform, I think it's because he got invited to something afterwards and he didn't want to be late. I think that's it. He just was like, there's a movie showing at 11, I got to get home, get changed.
Yeah,
that's
obviously.
That's got to be what it is. And then I did see the caster desk at ESL talking about how Maru just somehow underperforms at foreign events. When he goes overseas, he's just not as good. And there have been times where he's been like, my shoulder hurts, I'm jet lagged because I got off a plane 12 minutes ago. And like, I don't...
Right.
Sometimes, sure, that can be an issue affecting him. I don't think those were affecting him here, right? We didn't get any of those excuses from anyone. I think he'd been there for a couple days already. He's overseas and he couldn't perform. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Searle, when he tries to compete in GSL, it doesn't go well, right?
I mean, Searle's never played in GSL. He played a GSL versus the world, and he won.
I thought Searle did a GSL.
Rayno did a GSL.
Just Raynor. I know Raynor did, but I thought Searle had snuck one in.
No.
No. And maybe this is why. Like, Raynor underperforms in GSLs too. It's just this concept of, like, really long plane trip. But, I mean, Dallas. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
Don't know.
It's just, I mean, at this point, you have to think some of it is just mental with Maru. He comes up against Searle, and a part of him goes, I can't beat this guy.
I absolutely think that's the issue, because in Maru's interview after he beat Hero 3-2, they were asking him, like, is he looking forward to his next match? Because he might have had Dark or Beyond. And he goes, man, I just don't really want to fight Searle. And Searle was on the literal opposite side of the bracket. Like,
he's in his head, man. He should be. He should be in his head. Like, you can't not have someone in your head when they've dominated you this thoroughly, this many times in a row.
True facts.
Man. And yeah, so just that final, it's like they did a great job casting. I think Pig noticed this. Like, Maru's doing something in his base, and then Searle pokes in and sees it. Maru's like, ah! And then, like, tries to adapt, and then Searle pokes in and sees it, and Maru's like, ah! And then tries to adapt again, and then again it happens, and it's like, okay.
Just absolutely could not stop his overlords getting in and seeing exactly what he's doing every single time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brutal stuff. And then Searle's busting out these, like, early aggression Roach Ravager things, bringing Banelings along, just like, Searle never does this. Here I am. You're dead. Was it? I don't think I was fully listening. I'm trying to remember who said this and when, but I think it was Pig again, who was like, you talk to Searle about particular maps that have shorter rush distances. And it's like, I mean, how do you feel about this map? And Searle's like, I hate it. But then you look up his statistics online, and he's like an 80% win rate on the map.
Right, but he's 80% win rate on all of the maps. It really doesn't mean much.
Well, but I mean, I think the point was it's higher than other maps. Like, it's significantly more impressive on this map. And it's like, okay, so I think what this means is Searle would rather play the macro game, right? That's where he lives.
I think so,
and if this map forces him into playing more aggressive, yeah, he's good at it, but he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's so funny. Like that, I mean, that's just a level you get to when you're this dominant of a competitor. Is winning is not everything. Just because you win doesn't necessarily bring you all the joy and wonder that it used to. Like, now the way you win matters, and that's the next level. Like, that's the tippy top of the mountain. Like, there are stories of Larry Bird in the NBA back in the 80s getting bored and just like, I'm going to shoot with my left hand for this game. Like, it's just a random February game, and he's like, winning with my right hand is boring. I'm going to shoot with my left hand. Like, okay, man. Like, you're Larry Bird. You have like 5 titles. Great. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the way you do that in StarCraft is to win without losing maps, without dropping any maps. The problem is Cyril did that for a year already. Like when his lead up to his first World Championship win, he lost like 1 map in a professional game for like an entire year. He can't just be bored and be like, you know what, I'm gonna try and do this fancy thing. It's like he'd have to be picking explicitly bad build orders. Like, I get playing aggressive is not what he wants to do.
Right.
But he's recognizing that it's still good for the map, though, is the point, right? Like, he's not doing the crazy aggressive all-ins with the huge, long, big maps, you know?
Right. So you're saying if this was boredom, he would just try to play macro style on maps that it's bad for and win anyway.
Yeah, I think
or
so.
try.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
I think if he was actually really bored of it, he would just play Protoss or Terran. Right? He'd just be like, Zerg's too easy, I'm just going to play Protoss. You know?
Yeah, which you really should do at this point.
Someone should. I really don't understand why the Protoss pros play Protoss. If they can't win, and it feels like they can't, just switch. Why haven't they switched? Why not?
Because it's hard to play Terran and Zerg. Secrets. StarCraft secrets.
Is it hard to play Zerg?
Compared to Protoss at this level, apparently Protoss hasn't won jack shit in like 3 years now.
That's because playing Protoss is the hard race.
But again, why not switch to the easy race then, guys?
I don't know. There's got to be a reason. Like, Stats came back from military recently. Like, he's our most recent return. That would have been a perfectly good place to be like, you know what? I'm switching it up after military. I've taken a break. I've not played Protoss in like a couple of years. Let's just come back as Zerg.
Yeah. Dude, Rainer's Protoss is insanely good.
Yeah.
Like, this can be done. This is not impossible.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know why it isn't.
Anyway, Maru, man. Good grief.
Good grief.
Well, and I did watch the Oliveira series because I was like, I don't know how this went. And I'll have you guess. How long were the 2 games each that Oliveira won?
Oh, Jesus. Here's the thing. I watched these games, and that information has just left my head the moment you asked for it.
But, I mean, think about it. How does this matchup usually go, especially with Cyril?
They're usually longer games. Cyril likes the macro games, as we just said. Hold on. Let me cheat and look at the maps that he won. Golden Aura and Alcyone. I don't know, 15, 20 minutes on each of these?
No.
20, 25, 30?
8.5.
8.5.
Because the way you beat somebody like Cyril is you show up at that timing.
Oh, this was the 8 racks build. Yes, now I remember.
Bingo bongo, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is when Cyril especially is most vulnerable. Is this little window that Terran players have sussed out. Where Zerg is like, I'd really like to make 10 more drones here. That would feel so good. And then you show up, and they're like, crap, I made 10 drones. And then they die.
Yeah. No, I
So
remember
that's it. Oliver shows up. Different compositions each game. Hellbats, Widowmines, Liberators, Siege Tanks, whatever. Cyril can't quite hold it. Bam, Cyril falls over dead. But the games where he was able to hold that, they went longer, and Oliveira had no chance. So, like, I hate to take the entire matchup and squeeze it down into that little push where, like, if you win here, you win. And if you don't, you're screwed. but it really kind of feels like that's what it is.
It definitely feels that way, but I don't think it's strictly true. I think Terran of all the races can beat Serral in that late game, because it was like the last big tournament with Clem and Serral where Clem won, and
Yeah, that's true. Clem, man.
it was just it's like Liberators and Ghosts and Tanks and Widowmines. If you can control all of those perfectly and dodge the fungals and not get abducted by Vipers, or Serral just decides not to make them or something, or whatever bullshit he did last time, or if he goes Ultras and ZVZ, you can beat Serral then.
Oh gosh, yeah, not wrong. Yeah, one of the games Oliveira went for that. He went for like a super fast 6-minute fourth, like crazy fast, and Serral scattered it and was like, okay, and like triple expanded. Said,
like, you want to play that game? I can be greedy.
I'm better at it than you are, man. Sorry.
Right.
So he did, and Oliveira was like that thing. Ghosts, Liberators, Siege Tanks, right? Made some Vikings because there were some Corruptors that Serral made. But like, how many Lurkers did Serral make? None. Did he get Seismic Spines and Adaptive Talons? How many Lurkers? 0. Did he get Chitinous Plating and
Anabolic Synthesis?
Anabolic Synthesis. How many Ultras did he make? 3, like at the very, 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 very last attack in the game.
I didn't see that.
How many Broodlords did he make? None. Did he have a Greater Spire? So, it's just this matchup is what it is. And Oliveira tried the things, but your ghosts just aren't good if there are no Ultras, Lurkers, or Broodlords around. Congratulations, you sniped a Hydralisk. Way to go! You took down a Baneling.
I want to say that's the thing. In his games versus Raynor, he did have like these little 8, 10, 12 packs of ghosts, and he was sniping all of the Banelings in a little push at like his 5th base or whatever. And it was like, yeah, obviously that works. Obviously that's a really good use of them. That's great. And you get him versus Serral, and it's like, okay, great, you sniped a couple Banelings. Whoop-de-doo. Why is it so different between players? What is Serral doing different?
I don't know. I gotta say I'm surprised to hear that, because every time I see a player use their ghost to snipe Banelings, it's like this sad trombone plays. It's like, It's like, congratulations, you killed this one little guy out of 40 Banelings.
Well, I will recant and say I'm not sure if it was Oliveira versus Reino, because it could have been Dark or Maru or Beyond and Dark. There was so
you watched a lot of StarCraft.
I watched a lot of TVZs.
Which is good. TVZ is fun. I like TVZ.
Yeah, TVZ is great. I love TVZ. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't complaining, but they all kind of mesh together. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the meta's just reached a point where, honestly, Zergs are like, screw tier 3, screw Lurkers. Like, it's hard to get the value with them. Raynor did manage to have a game. One of the games you recommended was Raynor and Oliveira. And that was a great match. Like, to spoil it for everybody, Oliveira's winning. He continues sniping the edge bases. Like, Raynor's on 4 bases at 20 minutes, and you're like, holy crap. And then he goes, double Nidus Lurker in your main. And Oliveira goes, ah! And that was it. That's what won him the game. So, like, sure, sometimes Lurkers are great. I'm not going to say no to Lurkers altogether, but with Nidus, right? Just if you're using them as part of your normal army comp, running around the map, attacking, defending, I don't know. I just feel like it's too easy to take them out and too hard to get value with them.
Maybe.
Most of the time. I mean, again, how many Lurkers did Serral make? And who won, you know?
Serral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just... got to be one of the more like disappointing aspects in the history of esports is this incredibly anticipated matchup between 2 titans, and then you get it and it sucks. Like, not just once, it just always sucks. I don't follow many other esports, but I can't imagine that's very common.
I can't. I can't imagine. Yeah.
Anywho, figure it out, Maru. Go see a psychiatrist or therapist or something.
I'm trying to compare this to literally anything else, and the first thing that popped in my head, it's like George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. Imagine if it was done in the first 30 seconds, you know?
Ooh,
Like an
yeah.
instant KO or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, there was a George Foreman Mike Tyson fight where Tyson bit his ear off because he was outmatched early.
Oh, wow, really?
Not his whole ear, just like a chunk of it.
Oh,
But
okay,
yep.
yeah, Jesus.
Uh-huh. And that's pro boxing. I think boxing's a good option for this, definitely. Yeah. But anyway, it's just like figure it out, Maru. Like give Cyril something. I mean, I don't know. And the games are short too. Cyril was like, Maru's really scary in the late game. Let's never get to the late game. And he played 4 games in 45 minutes, including downtime between the matches.
Right. Yeah.
So he was just like, I have some plans. I'm going to go ahead and show up at a weird time with compositions you're not ready for and you're going to die. How's that sound? And Maru's like, oh, this is discouraging. Holy crap, Cyril.
A lot of Cyril's games are very quick. I know you don't like ZVZs, but his Cyril versus Shin, which was a 3-0 for Cyril, was over super fast. I just stepped away from my computer for about 15 minutes, and all 3 games were done. Like,
right.
They were just like,
welcome to ZVZ. I bet one of those games was Proxy Spine's Pull the Drones bullshit, too.
I didn't go back to watch them. I should. I might.
You can't show me anything in ZVZ that I'm remotely interested in anymore at all. None of it. The drone rushing stuff, boring. Ling Bane Micro, boring. Roach Ravager attacking, Roach Ravager, boring. Hydro Lurker Viper, boring. There's nothing in ZVZ where I'm like, ooh, this gets my heart rate up. Not even close.
I mean, is it supposed to elevate your heart rate?
Yeah, I just mean get me excited. Like ZVT, even if it's, hey, look, it's Ghosts and Liberators and it's Siege Tanks. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before, but it's exciting to me. I like to see how the Zerg handles it, where the Terran positions. But in ZVZ, there's no angle you can tell me about it that I'm like, ooh. The last interesting angle was when Little Burrow Roach Harass was a thing in long ZVZs, and you send a roach like to one roach to a mineral line and go, pop, attack, burrow. And they were all over the map. And that was fun. That was like neat.
Sure,
and then they were like, that's too fun. Nerf the burrow regen rate for roaches. And it totally went away. It makes me sad.
I mean, here's the problem. All the games are ending so quickly, we'll never get to the end game to see if players will even do it. And all of the anti-ZVZ negativity coming out of the casters on this podcast are what's preventing pros from wanting to do it. They're like, no, let's not play ZVZs long. Cyril loves the big long macro games. He's not playing them in ZVZ.
Yeah, it's not my fault he killed Shin in 45 seconds flat. This has nothing to do with me.
Maybe.
Anyway, Cyril's the GOAT. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry. The end.
Yeah, the end.
He's a true monster. And I love they showed him after the first 3 wins against Maru, and he's just like, Cyril face, right?
Right, yeah.
And then after the 4th game, he goes, yeah, and then like back to like nothing.
he knows they need the photo op of him celebrating.
I'm gonna give it to you quick, PR guys, but it's not gonna be for long.
I bet there is a button, a single button on his like setup that he's got somewhere, and he just pushes it, and it tells them, in 10 seconds I'm gonna do my celebration. Be ready, you know.
Yeah, he's the greatest. He's in military service, and again, we don't know what this means for Finland. We have no idea. Maybe he's practicing 16 hours a day, and they're like, we don't care.
Right.
It kind of looks like he is, honestly, because he's pretty great right now. But, yeah, it's just no one's ever done this before. No one's in the military and coming out of the closet, out of the mothballs to be like, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to be the best player here. Okay, bye, I'm going back to military now.
Right, because Finnish military service, mandatory military service, is different from Korean. The Korean
Yes.
military service,
Obviously.
obviously, yeah. In the Korean military service, you cannot earn money doing anything else. Like, you can't have a side hustle. You cannot play in a pro tournament and win money. So pros don't play in tournaments, which, if they're not playing in tournaments, they stop practicing. In Finland, that is evidently not the case, because Cyril just took home like an extra 20K US, yeah.
Yeah. And looks fine. I mean, again, you know, he didn't win every map, obviously, but good grief. He's the best player there, and it was the best players in the world that showed up, so...
Yeah. All right.
My gosh.
I think we're just about done with ESL. I'm going to
Yeah.
say one thing that I did find really fun after the tournament was over, which was on Twitter there was some tweets going out of like fans like getting photos with Sarah, all that sort of stuff. ESL was like, thanks to our wonderful talent, and it was all like Pig and Zombie Grub and Wardy and all that. And
Fear
then,
Dragon.
Yeah, and then it was also Raynor, because he was on the desk for 10 minutes talking about how scary Cyril is.
I mean, that's helpful stuff. It's good to get first-person perspective on how scary Cyril is, and he would know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you, Raynor.
He's the best. I like Raynor a lot.
He's so fun.
Do better in GSL, Raynor. What's your deal?
Yeah.
He said he's going back. I follow him on Instagram, and I think he said he's going back.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe for next season. Yeah. I'd like it if he keeps trying, honestly.
Yeah. I'm always happy to see people keep trying in GSL.
Yeah. Colaris is there. Oh, that's funny. Raynor's right in the middle, too.
He's right next to the trophy like he's won it.
That's fantastic. Everyone's like, we have to let Raynor have the best spot. He's Raynor. Fair.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
So
Okay. What is next?
Vulkan
It's gonna
lives.
be Warhammer.
Vulkan Lives by Nick Kyme.
Yes. So for half of this book, it explains the terrible relationship between Vulkan and Conrad Kurz.
Yeah.
And Conrad Kurz trying to mentally and emotionally break Vulkan and failing miserably for like ever. So nice job, buddy. Way to raise my esteem of you even more.
I love that this
the
is
worst.
I love that
He's
this is
the worst.
This is your introduction to Conrad Kurz. It's like, hi, I'm Conrad. I know the Emperor said to take this planet bloodlessly if possible. I'm gonna kill an entire city and like flay them and all that kind of monstrous stuff. The rest of them will stand down. Is that cool with you, Vulcan? He's like, no, it's fucking not.
And after the survivors have been loaded into transports, I'm going to kill them all in the transports. Because I'm that kind of guy.
Right.
Sure, bud. Sure, all right.
And then after that, it's like flashing back and forth between some events on that planet at that time and the aftermath of Istvan 5, in which Vulcan has been captured and loaded onto Conrad Kurz's ship and is suffering through numerous tortures and murders and mental probes.
And Somicron did say murders here, and he used the term correctly. Because what the hell?
Because plot twist, Vulcan's a perpetual.
Yeah.
Which, if you're the Emperor and you're handing out gifts, Vulcan gets perpetuality and, like, Guilliman gets good with taxes, you know?
Right. Yeah, Guilliman gets, like, good at management. He's a fantastic middle manager.
Right. Angron gets to be angry, and Vulcan gets to live forever.
Anger is not a gift of the Emperor.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, there's a big question of what would he have been like without the Butcher's Nail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know.
We don't know. Some say, like, I've heard some people say that he would have been like an empath. He was the Emperor's ability to feel and impart other
Ooh.
people's feelings onto himself.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But then he's just angry on the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's still doing that, but the Butcher's Nail only let him feel pain and anger, and then he surrounds himself with people who only feel pain and anger, and it's a vicious loop. So,
Right. Right.
yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, Vulkan gets to live forever.
So, okay, that's actually a question I had, because I've been familiar with perpetuals for a minute now. But, like, the exact function of what makes you a perpetual, I wasn't quite clear on, because I'd never seen anybody actually come back. Like, they talk about dying and coming back, and I'm like,
Right.
okay, cool. Is that like someone has to come scoop you up and like reconstitute you? But no, apparently you on your own, your body just goes whoop and comes back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much Wolverine healing from a drop of blood kind of situation.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Totally.
At the end of Legion, John Grammaticus steps out of an airlock, and then he just kind of shows up in Mark of Calth, and on Calth, not necessarily in the book of Mark of Calth. So, like, we know that there was some way to put him back together, but I guess he just does that by himself.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But like if you're in space and you reconstitute, you're still in space.
Yeah.
So you die again, and you just go through a cycle of dying in space until somebody picks you up and dumps you in a ship or on a planet.
Yep.
Rad.
Or
Good call.
if, skipping to the end of this book, you fall to a planet.
Right. That's totally an option too.
Yeah, and you get a very, very graphic description of Vulcan's eyes boiling in his skull. That's really gross.
And his skin melting off, and then his muscle melting off, and it's like, okay, all right, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So again, just I don't know. Just the torturing of Vulcan at some point, it just is what I said it is. It's Kurz failing miserably to break Conrad in any way he can. The end. Like, that's what it is. There's creativity involved, and there's a lot of different ways that he tries, and it's kind of interesting, but it all fails miserably in the end and during the whole thing. And it's like, all right, cool, I guess.
So I think Vulcan kind of salvages it a little bit, like near the end when he's in the final labyrinth and he's talking to Conrad about how like we never were afraid of you, and he's like half trying to bait Conrad into like doing something, but he's like, we're not afraid of you. We've never been afraid of you. You call yourself the Night Haunter. We like took it easy because we were all afraid to hurt you, and
Right, because you're so pathetic.
And like it is like a big reveal. I don't know about big reveal, but it is like behind the lens of Conrad Kurz, where it's like, yeah, he really does think all that stuff about himself too, and his need to break Vulcan is probably driven just as much by the fact that he can't kill him as like a need to prove himself as an equal, but he's not going to equal himself up to Vulcan. He's going to equal Vulcan down to him, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. And he fails because he's Conrad Kurz and he sucks.
And he fails, but he does at like because it's flashing between the ship and this planet. He does get Vulcan to roast an Eldar child.
Yes.
Which, whew, that is a big sticking point for a lot of people in the fandom. Like a lot of Warhammer fans, if you go to the subreddits, a lot of people will be like, yeah, but Vulcan did roast a kid, you know? Like, there's a little comic that I like where it's a salamander, it's not Vulcan. And it's like, oh, look, an Eldar child, and then someone from behind a bush throws a knife, and he goes, whoosh, flame on.
Okay, that's funny.
It's really
Can
funny.
we just point out real quick, it's not just an Eldar child. It is a combat-capable Eldar child.
That's all of
who
them.
has recently murdered a bunch of people and innocents.
That's all of them, though.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just
Yep.
Some people might hear child and be like, a defenseless child with no capabilities to defend themselves at all.
So you're in favor of murdering the the active children who can hurt people. You're still okay with murdering kids then.
I'm saying it's a different moral sphere. I'm not saying one is good and one is bad. I'm just saying one is worse than the other one. Right? There's different levels of morality. You disagree? You think it's good and bad?
No comment. I'm just pro elder child life. That's all.
Okay, fine. Anywho, yeah, so that's that, basically. Again, there's some creativity involved here. I mean, the one sequence where Korax shows up and is like, I'm here to rescue you, and I was like, no, you're not. There's no way you're actually here. I'm sorry. There's too much bullshit going on. Nope. And they really tried to make you feel like it was real for a long time, and I was like, oh, they're doing chapters of this. Maybe it is real. And then, no, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, it wasn't real in the sense that there was, like, no escape attempt that was going to be viable. But as far as I'm aware...
No. He doesn't kill Korax, and then the next scene is him being, like, psychically manipulated by, like, 6 psychers.
Maybe I got distracted while I was listening. Because I do listen to the audiobooks at work. But I feel like Conrad was there. Not Conrad, that's Korax. Too many C's. Too many curse sounds. Raven, Corvus Corax. I feel like he was actually there.
Nope. Hallucination brought on by psychers mentally manipulating Vulkan into believing it was real. Yep.
You might be right. There's a good chance you're right. I have no idea.
Okay, it doesn't really matter. Unless, of course, that means that Cruz has Korax captive.
Or was a man of his word and let him go.
He breaks his word like 47 times in this book alone. He's the worst. Again, he's the worst. And I hate him. Anyway, yeah, so that all happens. And at the end of it, Kurz is like, here's this magic hammer you built. Let me give you easy access to it real quick. Like, why are you doing this? Why? What is happening here?
I'm not.
And it's a hammer that I know has transportation capabilities because I tried to shut them down.
Coming to find that the entire rescue sequence was a vision planted in his mind by Davenite psychers.
Bingo, bongo.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. Conrad still likes playing with people. Like he wants to give them that little glimmer of hope because he believes that like this labyrinth room is entirely teleport shielded. Sure, the hammer acts as a teleport signal or flare or whatever, but he's like, I've got that covered. He's like, he thinks he's in control. He's just as much as like trying to prove that Vulkan is as low as him as he is as much just a sadist and wants to fuck with Vulkan. And it's very like bad guy is overconfident trope, you know? Like it's very that. But I'm not gonna lie, when I was listening to it and Vulcan's like, you've forgotten one thing, brother. It's also a hammer.
Which is hilarious. I laughed out loud at that one.
It's so good. I absolutely... Chef's kiss.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, he's stronger than you, and you're giving him a weapon he can hit you with. Why?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. He's incredible. He's incredible. Conrad Kurz, everybody.
Conrad Kurz.
The best of the Primarchs. No, the literal worst of the Primarchs by a wide margin. It's not even close. They know it. He knows it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Man alive.
So yeah, but now you know who Vulkan is. You know, John Grammaticus is a man on a mission to kill him, in exchange for his own freedom from the Cabal. Like, It sounds like John wants to, because his perpetuality is like a thing that's granted to him by the Cabal. Like they're foisting it on him every time.
Correct.
So he wants to just have one life left and wander off into the sunset and live a quiet life.
Well, I mean, yeah. Apparently, he was around during, the ancient Greek Empire, so he's been around for a hot minute. He talks
That
about like Jason and the Argonauts and
that
stuff.
that's Alanius Pius. That's Ollie P.
Oh, what's Grammaticus's?
Grammaticus was there during the Unification Wars on Terra. Like he meets the Emperor there.
Okay,
But I don't know that he has explicitly been like, and I was there at the dawn of time. Um,
fair enough.
yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, so tens of thousands of years old. Like we're splitting hairs a little bit here.
No. More like 300 years old.
If we think he only. Wait. Is it that recently?
So the Unification Wars were a thing that happened. And
Yes.
then the Great Crusade was like 200 years max. And then the Horus Heresy kicks off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we're pretty deep into the heresy, but not that deep. Didn't last that long. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Huh. Fair enough.
Yeah. So Grammaticus has been around a while, but not like Ollie P a while.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he wants to die. He's like, I'm good. Done a lot, seen a lot. Everything sucks because I'm in the Warhammer universe. It's
Right.
very genre savvy of him.
Yep.
Yep.
So I would like to say that I feel like the flowchart that we have lied to us.
Oh no. Okay.
Let me just pull it open because there were Erebus was pretty like maimed and like wearing a mask and like had a hood on, and at the end when he saves up and saves John Grammaticus, he's like, yeah, no, take the magic spear and go do your thing. No one here will stop you.
Which is, I mean, at first I was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like he's talking about like all like he had talked back to Horus and like something at Cygnus Prime that he had done, and it's like, okay, but the last thing we read before this was Betrayer, and Erebus is in there talking with Lorga about how he wants to go off to Cygnus Prime and try to like turn Sanguinius, and Lorga's like, no, that won't work. Don't bother.
There's no way you're turning Sanguinius.
Right. And
Right.
all the stuff that like that's supposed to be related to is Fear to Tread, which is on the flow sheet before Betrayer. But all that stuff has to happen after, but before Vulkan lives.
Yeah. Boo.
I feel like we were
Boo
tricked.
flowchart. Who made the flowchart? Let's yell at them angrily.
Daunt's Horus Heresy timelines. A Daunt.
Sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's annoying.
it's a little annoying, but you know, I guess it gives us our next book, which is Fear to Tread. If we want to go back and catch up on all that stuff,
Might as well. Let's see why not.
might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say I did enjoy the little found family loyal Astartes who like survived as fun and like just dragged each other into a random transport that was still active and like escaped together.
Yeah, that's good. The Shattered Legions is what they're called.
Okay.
Because the Raven Guard, the Salamanders, and the Iron Hands all get like decimated at this 1.5, as you've read 6 or 7 times now.
Correct.
And while they like lose their prime marks or get split up and separated, they all continue to try and like just do things to like help the loyalists, even though they're like, hey, we're 20 Marines in a single dropship. Where can we go? What can we do?
Right.
You get little stories like this where they're like, oh, the word bearers are like unleashing something on planets. Let's get to the next one and try and stop them before they do it. We can at least save the people there, even if it costs us our lives.
Right. Except they're 0 for 2.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
doesn't always work.
No, but you gotta try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it is like a lot of them lost their Primarchs, obviously. And as far as anybody knows, Vulcan's dead because they saw him like in a massive explosion, and like no one should have survived it, even a Primarch.
Right.
But they believe he lives. Grammaticus tells them that Vulcan's still alive, and they're like, we don't trust you at all, but that's something we'd like to hear. So great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, they're just very sad boys. Some of them are angry though.
Some of them are pretty angry.
Yeah. Then they all die,
They do all die, which is kind of sad.
which is pretty Warhammery. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that the last one is they're out in like this desert trying to get to like this ship that they've got stowed away, and there's a guy working for the word bearers. He is a word bearer, but he doesn't really like the word bearers. He's got his own honor, and he's like, I need to know if I'm better, so blades or pistols. And he's like, well, blades, I guess. And then they both went for their pistol.
Which is like, what?
Uh,
Why talk all this time talking about honor and actually having honor and not just shooting the guy in the back of the head, being like, what's up? Like, I could have killed you without you knowing I was here, but I wanted to know who, there's this
Yeah.
honor thing here. And then they both cheat. And it's like,
because
cool, guys.
the honor thing is 1v1 combat. The actual method didn't matter, is my guess.
I guess so.
I guess.
Whatever. They're all dead at the end. Yeah. What's that dude's name? The word bearer who was awesome. And he's like, I hate Erebus. And it's like, I'm on your side, sir.
The Dark Apostle was Elias, and then his huntsman was Narak.
Narak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Former legionary vigilator. Which, I think they were snipers? Yeah.
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 Yeah, not a lot of sniping going on in the previous books I've read. A lot of the
No.
time Astartes are like punching each other in the face a lot.
Yeah, a lot of punching in the face, a lot of swords, and a lot of bolt guns, which the range on a bolt gun is an interesting thing, because they're self-propelled, basically like grenades. Like, they're little micro-rockets, essentially. And so they don't really work well as sniper rifles, which is why when you hear sniper, you're like, it's a sniper gun. Like, what kind of gun is it? Is it a solid slug? Is it a bolt gun? Is it a las rifle? It's a sniper rifle. And
sure is.
I feel like if the legions had, or like the Astartes had really, really good sniper rifles, they'd be all over the place. Like, there's just no reason in a sci-fi universe that they couldn't have sniper rifles hitting people from like 2 kilometers. And it's like, okay, so why are we getting into melee again when we could just be like up on hills ages back and firing a ton of guns from long distance?
Yeah, right?
There's some questionable tactics in Warhammer.
Definitely. But yeah, it's super cool. All throughout this book, it's like, shit, there's a sniper, and then like 3 people die. You're like, okay. Astartes are getting one shot here. This is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's more like 3 people die, and then you're like, oh shit, a sniper, I guess. The more accurate order of operations there.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I love the number of times someone like sees a glint of metal like 8 miles in the distance, and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, always fun to read about. All right, cool. So next
book, Fear to Tread.
Sure. Let's see if it's on Amazon.
Let's see if I already own it on Audible.
To Tread. Hey, look, it's $10 again.
That doesn't surprise me. By James Swaller.
Like the cost of the paperbacks vary wildly.
Oh yeah.
But every ebook version of everything in the Horus Heresy is $9.99. What the heck?
I assume ebooks are through Kindle, right? And they just set the price to be standard at $9.99 for everything.
I appreciate it.
And then paperback books, like when was they last printed? That'll affect
Right.
how much it costs. So for Kindle, it's $14 for me. If I want the mass market paperback, it'll be $679.
Holy crap. Paperback. Books are stupid, man. Why are we reading books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
You and me both.
All right, cool. We got it. Winner is us.
All right. Wrap it up early, Mark.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. I don't.
Oh,
I don't know if I want this spoiled. Okay, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you want to talk about Furiosa?
Yeah, I do. But really quick. So these Eldari that Grammaticus doesn't know are communicating with him.
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, this is weird. I wonder if I can use this to escape from the control of the Eldari. It's worth a shot, I guess.
The Eldari help escape from the Cabal?
Yeah, from the Cabal.
Okay, yeah.
Which includes some Eldari.
Some, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, you need to kill Vulkan. And he's like, why him? Why not freaking Conrad Kurz, right?
Well, the Cabal are like, you need to kill Vulkan.
Oh. And so these other dudes are like, continue your mission?
Yeah, so...
Why? Okay, I thought they were the ones who came up with this mission.
No. So his mission from the Cabal is to kill Vulkan before he becomes the Gatekeeper. And, like, I know what that is, but it's a spoiler. But remember, the Cabal's plan, as far as we know it at the minute, is if the Emperor loses and Horus wins, Horus will eventually turn on the rest of humanity and his own forces, and humanity will go extinct, but the universe will be saved from chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that whole thing. The more humans there are, the more chaos grows in power because there's more to feed on.
Right.
Okay. So from the perspective of that thing, which we learned about a while ago.
The acuity in the Inhabitants' Legion.
Yeah. So this is... So Vulkan gets visited by some Eldari in disguise, I guess, while he's in captivity.
Yep, and he doesn't tell him his name, but he's like, you're definitely a Farseer, though.
Yeah, and he says, you must live, but stand alone as a gatekeeper.
Yes, so...
And Vulkan's like, I don't know what that means. Which is great.
Yeah, so the random Eldari that he gets talked to, Grammaticus also gets visited by. And he is kind of trying to use Grammaticus to, like, I don't know, do something, right? Like, yeah, he's an Eldar. He's seeing the future and trying to, like, pull strands of fate together.
Yes.
But as far as we can tell, he does not want Vulkan to die because he wants him there to be the gatekeeper.
Yeah, that guy does.
Yeah. But not the Cabal guys. So the guys that talked to Grammaticus when he was flecting with the bowl of blood when he woke up was not the Cabal. Right.
He doesn't recognize any of them.
Yeah, well, I think there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he asks him towards the end of the book, why him? Why not the lion? Which is weird. Or that bastard Kurz. Why does it have to be him? Because he is important? Because he must not live to become the keeper of the gate.
Yeah. That's him talking to Slaudar, the guy from the Cabal. Like, he's just asking the Cabal guys, why doesn't it have to be him?
Oh, so the Cabal comes back at the end?
Yeah,
oh, it is Slaudar. Yeah. Oh, so they kind of like abandoned him for a while.
Yeah, so they gave him his orders and then were like, look, once you're off the planet with the goddamn spear, we'll get in contact with you again. And
Gotcha.
that's them getting into contact again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they sent him to get the spear, which, in the end, he has the spear. He's off planet. A lot of stuff happens between those 2 points. But, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so the plan is to kill Vulkan because that way, in a larger sense, that helps Horus win.
Yeah, the Cabal want Vulkan to die because he'll go to do something important about guarding a gate, and if he doesn't do that, Horus is more likely to win, right?
Yes, so
Yeah.
they're just playing the odds to try to get Horus to win.
Yes.
Got it. Fair enough. And Grammaticus is not happy about this.
Nope, but he's willing to do it for his freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Which freedom is death?
It's a certain kind of freedom, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
So Furiosa was good. So I watched a kind of YouTube recap of Fury Road today because I was like, I don't remember exactly the structure of Fury Road, and I wanted to know what was different about it compared to Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
Fury Road is a roller coaster, man. It starts with a car chase, and it is a car chase the whole time. It is bonkers.
That
Stuff's
is what I remember
exploding.
from that.
People are getting shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
There's fire everywhere. There's a couple times they stop and like have a conversation, but it's not very much.
No. Here
Okay.
is what all my memories of Fury Road. This is it. There's a guy in a V8 Interceptor, the last of them, I assume. He's eating dog food, and then he gets captured. And then there's a guy huffing chrome. He gets a tattoo on his back.
Yep.
There's a guy who's drinking milk, like breast milk, in bottles, and he controls a bunch of water. And then there's a chick in a tanker, and then the movie ends.
She has a robot arm, or not, a prosthetic arm.
I'll take your word for it.
And it's Charlize Theron. Yeah. Nothing for Somicron. Okay. So yeah, roller coaster ride. The cinematography is incredible. The sound design is nuts. They do this thing where they skip frames intentionally in certain scenes and speed it up so it feels
Jumpy
and like
cutty.
otherworldly almost. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's really interesting visually, right? Mm-hmm. So then Furiosa gets there, but it takes a while. Like Furiosa gets off the starting line and goes pow, and it never stops. Furiosa's like, here's the story of little Furiosa and how she got kidnapped from her people. Mm-hmm. And how she ended up not being one of those, a breeding woman for Immortan Joe. Uh-huh. And how she ended up in the position she's in Fury Road.
Right.
So it is an hour and 15 minutes of little Furiosa doing stuff. Okay. And then Anya Taylor-Joy shows up and is there for the last hour. And it's like, that is a lot of time to not have your headliner star in the movie.
It is wild that there have been 2 movies where there's like a ton of stuff going on in a desert and then Anya Taylor-Joy shows up, right? Like,
not wrong. There are some similarities here.
I mean, it's weird that it happened twice, is all I'm saying.
Right. Nichols and all that.
So Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't play Furiosa. I thought
she does.
Oh, but she doesn't show up until like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep. So there's 8-year-old Furiosa, and then Anya Taylor-Joy plays like 18-year-old Furiosa.
I feel like Anya Taylor-Joy could not pull past 18 anymore, but I guess in a post-apocalyptic world, everyone would just look haggard from malnutrition. Not that Anya Taylor-Joy looks haggard normally, but you know what I mean.
I mean, again, they uglied up Charlize Theron to some extent. Because, again, post-apocalyptic wasteland, like, she can't look super pretty out there.
Sure. I just, if I had to, like, take a guess, I would have said Anya Taylor-Joy is, like, 32, right? Like, she's an accomplished actress. She must be older than me. She's 28.
Yeah. In fairness, she's got rich parents. Like, that's the cheat code to everything at this point. Anyone who's successful in their 20s and has successful, rich, connected parents, it's like, nope, doesn't count. I do not accept this at all. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Anywho, it was just weird. And I don't know. And like this, this 8 to 10-year-old girl who's playing Little Furiosa does great. I don't have any problems with her, but like the headliner was Anya Taylor-Joy, and she's not in there for over half of the film. So,
right.
Shrug. Very interesting, very weird choice.
Mm-hmm. I did see someone on Twitter talking about how they wanted to go back and rewatch it because they couldn't tell exactly when they stopped like CGI aging up the child or aging down Anya, and when the actors switched. Which
yes, they're tricky with it.
Okay.
Because there's a point. So basically, yada yada yada. Little Furiosa gets captured by a warlord, and then Immortan Joe takes her because he's like, she's good breeding because they're disgusting out there. Puts her with the rest of the wives, and they're like, welcome aboard. Welcome to the club. And then she cuts her hair off and, like, wears a hat and a mask that covers half her face and is out, like, hanging out with the mechanics.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Immortan Joe gets a brand new wife. She disappears off the face of the earth, and there's this little wisp of a boy hanging out with the mechanics you've never seen before. Can we put this together? And I'm just saying, at some point, Immortan Joe needs to sign off on this, because in Fury Road, he knows it's Furiosa. She doesn't change her name. She's Furiosa when she's a child. She's Furiosa when she's an adult. So at some point, he's like, fine, you want to drive the war rig? You want to do this instead of being a wife? Thumbs up. You're awesome. But we don't ever get that. And I need to know what happened, because it doesn't make any sense. That's all. That was my biggest complaint with the film.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so she does that. She ends up escaping. She hangs out with the mechanic. She learns everything. She's tough. She's resourceful. They respect her. Blah, blah, blah. And then there's a bunch of car chases and war rig runs. Show us the creation of the first war rig, which is pretty neat. It's got all this like special stuff on it, and it's very neat. She kind of falls in love with the original driver of the rig. And then that goes poorly because it's the Mad Max world. And he dies. And yeah, Chris Hemsworth is in there, and he's playing this bonkers warlord character that's really interesting. I forget Chris Hemsworth can do good acting. Because all he's done is Thor for like 20 years. And I like his Thor ever since they fixed it.
I mean, I'll be honest, I did not hate Thor 1 Thor.
It's okay.
I don't like I said, I didn't hate it, but I liked that it moved, right? You didn't stay. If you stay like that, it would have been really, really awful to be like that forever. Yeah. But
And then Taika's like, he needs actual emotional like vulnerability, and it's like, oh, okay, that actually works with Thor a lot, and they just kept it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, he's done even that, which I enjoy. I like his Thor. Like, have him do an entirely different character and nail it is like, okay, Chris Hemsworth, you're good at this. He's doing this crazy broad Australian accent that, like, I need you to hear it and tell me how crazy it is, because it sounds crazy. But maybe there are people that actually talk like that around you. I don't know.
Do you want me to like Google for it?
Yeah, pull something up real quick. Just like find a. His character's name is Dementis. Dementis. Yeah.
Okay. Dementis clip. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Oh, it's taking me to TikTok. That's definitely what I want.
Might be okay.
Yeah, people talk like that.
They do! Okay! Because I was wondering if he was going crazy with it. Apparently not.
I think he's hamming it up just like a little bit, but
Okay.
not by much.
Okay, that makes my day. That's so good. That's just Australian. I mean,
Well,
not every Australian.
no. That is a very
No.
specific kind of broad Australian accent. It's not.
Yes.
It's not what I've got, but
Nope. Because you sound like an American. Is it a
Well,
regional
fuck.
thing?
it's closer to like an outback Australian accent. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a backwoods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Redneck Australian accent. Yeah. He's great. I really enjoyed him. And like his whole character is he's this warlord, but he's kind of unstable and like he's not all mentally there. Can't do a great job of keeping his crew together, but he does well enough that he still has a pretty big crew.
Right.
It's an interesting, I don't know, just kind of more interesting than if you're just this like ultra competent badass leader that everybody respects and he's unstoppable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
I was just looking at his filmography to be like, what else has he done that isn't like a Thor?
Fair.
And he's going to be voicing Optimus Prime in the next Transformers movie.
Oh.
Optimus
That's-
Autobots, roll out!
What's the movie I watched? Netflix was like, here's a Chris Hemsworth movie where he's a soldier. And I'm like, okay.
Extraction.
Extraction. I watched Extraction, and he was pretty good at Extraction.
I think I've seen like 15 minutes of it.
Okay.
I was like, this is a war movie. This is mercenary war movie.
Mercenary. Yeah. Different from war movie for
Right.
sure.
It's not like a brothers in arms, comrades in the trench kind of. No. None of that. It is, I am paid to do a job.
Right. Yeah, I thought the first one was good. He gets shot off a bridge and dies, and then they're like, this made a lot of money. Let's make a second one and have him survive getting shot off a bridge and dying.
Right. Yeah.
Because especially if a character falls off of something, their chances of being alive later a lot higher. Fall death doesn't count,
especially
in TV shows or movies.
If their landing isn't shown as well, like if they're not very explicitly got their head cracked over a pavement,
right?
What they could have landed on a pillar. It's fine. Like you can write that in later if you want to do a sequel.
And especially in water. Water is the ultimate they're fine moment. Because Born Identity gets shot, falls in the ocean. You're like, oh boy, he's fine. Like
James Bond
you can survive getting shot, knocked. Yeah, James Bond gets shot and knocked into the ocean, and he's fine. They do this all the time. If you get shot into water, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shorthand. It was really funny too because I was watching a recap of one of the Life is Strange kind of visual novel games. And there's a scene where this woman gets shot and knocked down a mine shaft, right? So it's the same trope. She falls like 20 feet, hits a crossbeam, poof, is okay. Because it's like 20 feet. Like it hurts, but it's probably not going to kill you.
Might break a rib, depending on what she lands on. Yeah.
Right. And then she falls off of that and goes like 100 feet down. Poof, lands on her face. Gets knocked unconscious, and they're like, she's dead. That's it. No one can survive that. And she's fine.
This is also a world where the main character has the ability to rewind time. So I'm just...
Well, this one has emotion powers.
Oh, this is in one of the sequels. Okay.
This is a sequel where she can see colors coming off of people that tells her what emotions they're feeling. So there's this scene where somebody's like raging, like punching walls and stuff, and there's red coming off them, and she's like, oh no, they must be angry. And it's like, what the hell is this? Why is this a power? This is not a power.
Brilliant deduction, Sherlock Holmes.
I know. You don't understand it. It's bad. But anyway, yeah, it's just writers, stop doing this. Like the next writer that shows me a character getting shot in the chest and falling off something and they're actually dead, I'm going to send you like a gift basket or something. It's so rare. Stop this trope. It's not good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Anyway, Furiosa good. I will say though, Mad Max is just nonstop action. Go, 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 go. So if that's what you like for the Mad Max franchise, then Fury Road is much better than Furiosa. Furiosa does better with character, a little better with character moments and making you care about people than Fury Road does. So that's more your speed. Furiosa is maybe more for you. But I liked both for different reasons.
sorry, I just noticed that there are two characters in Furiosa called Erectus and Scrotus.
Yeah, Immortan Joe's sons. They're in the Fury Road too.
They are, and
Uh-huh.
that's their names.
Yes. Everyone has a ridiculous name in this world. There's a character named Nux in the first one.
Sure, but that's
But
just
it's not Erectus, is what you're saying.
right. It's not Scrotus. Like knight is Latin for knight is one thing. Ballsack is another.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember other character names.
The people eater.
People Eater. The Organic Mechanic is another character. That one's kind of fun.
Yeah, Smeg.
Yeah. Smeg's right up there with Erectus. Come on.
Okay, yes, maybe they're going for a thing.
Toe Jam.
Yeah. So hold on, is this a sequel or a prequel? Like when's
Prequel.
prequel?
Because it's Young Furiosa. Have I not been clear about this? I feel like I've been clear.
You have. I just don't remember if Furiosa shows up in the other one. Like I don't remember.
She's the badass lady that has a prosthetic arm about. That's Furiosa.
I thought that was Charlie.
It is. It's Charlize
okay.
Theron. That's
So
the actor's name.
They just recast her. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got 3 different actors playing Furiosa at this point. 10 years old, 20-something maybe, and then older than that? I don't know, man. They're in the wasteland. There's no ages here.
No.
No.
Yikes.
But yeah, the video I watched about Fury Road talked a little bit more about the early Mad Max movies. I didn't realize that Mad Max starts out in a functional society. Like,
Yeah.
it's Mel Gibson, like, living in the suburbs. I had no idea. I thought the whole thing was post-apocalyptic. That's incredible.
No. I believe this is actually the first Mad Max movie to acknowledge that it's even set in Australia, right? Like, the rest of them have been, like, outland, like, deserty, outback kind of place, but haven't been explicitly like, this is Australia. And now, like, from what I heard, this one starts with, like, a satellite shot of the country and then slowly zooms in.
To the middle of it, where all the desert is. Yeah.
Yeah, narrows it down.
Yeah. Yeah. It does not. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a big desert.
It's a big desert.
Yeah. And the video also said that it wasn't necessarily intended to be like a wasteland. They wanted to do post-apocalyptic, but with like a more populated thing, but they didn't have the money to get extras and stuff. So they ended up shooting a lot of Mad Max in pretty abandoned towns. And so that just turned into the aesthetic. It's most people are dead. There's roving war gangs running around, some settlements here and there, but most everybody ate it a long time ago, right?
Right.
And it's just because they didn't have enough money to do what they wanted to do in the first film. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember a lot from the first Mad Max movies, but I do remember him, like, walking into a diner, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's a diner. I guess it's civilization, you know? It's not a BDSM bandit from Borderlands, like, beating someone to death, you know? It's like, it's a person who you can just go up to, you don't know them, give them money, they'll give you goods. It's fine. You know.
But then...
But now, no, but they didn't have enough money.
Nope. Also, there's this theory that Mad Max is an immortal. Because if he was around for the pre-collapse of civilization and he's in Fury Road...
Yeah.
Like, just doing some math, it's like 200 years.
I mean, do we have an official timeline that, like, Fury Road's 200 years later?
Well, one of the bits of evidence they had was that the oceans exist in the original Mad Max,
Yeah, but they don't anymore.
and they're dried up now. Yeah,
Oh,
and that
okay.
doesn't happen in like a couple of years.
Sure. I mean, aliens could steal them. Um,
That's true. Aliens could have stolen from the ocean.
okay, so hold on. When you get the satellite shot of Australia and Fury Road, or Furiosa,
Yeah.
how is it outlined? How's the country outlined? Is it not with water?
Good question. I think it did actually.
Okay.
Continuity mistake. Oh no.
Well, all right then.
Yeah. Here, let me. Trying to Google if anybody has a timeline here.
I just want to point out that George Miller is the guy who invented Mad Max. Also made Happy Feet.
Right.
Yeah. Just
And what was the other one that I saw? Like one of the Babe movies
oh
with the
yeah,
pig?
he made Babe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. What range?
Yeah, I mean, he wrote and produced it. He did not. That's the one of the movies on his feature films filmography that he did not direct. The only one he didn't direct, but he did write Babe, and The Witches of Eastwick. Oh no, he didn't write that. He directed it. No. It's it's all guys all over the place, but he's great at all of it apparently.
Apparently. Okay, so this timeline says Fury Road set possibly as late as 2050.
Okay.
And the original Mad Max is set in the mid 1980s.
So 70 years.
Yeah. So if Mel Gibson is 30, 35 in Mad Max?
Do we want to take like how old he was when he
Sure.
started it? Okay, so how old is Mel Gibson? I'm gonna guess 400.
Yeah, right?
He is 68 currently, which would have made him. When did the original Mad Max come out? 1979.
Yeah.
Now I have all the data, but how do I get to the conclusion that I
Maths.
math on stream? This can only go well.
Hooray.
Uh,
Chat, help us.
I can do it. It'll just take me a minute. 45.
Okay.
So what did I say? He was 68?
He was 68 in the 80s? No way.
No, he's 68 now.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been about 23, maybe 21, 22 when he was filming.
Oh, much younger. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know the story of how he got the role?
No.
He was going to an audition for Mad Max. He, in a very Mel Gibson move, got into a fight on the street beforehand and was roughed up and bloodied and still went to the audition, and they loved it.
They were like, this guy, he's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
What we're looking for. I could see that. That's amazing. Yeah, that's a very Mel Gibson thing to do. I like it. Okay, so if he's like 20 in 80,
So
and then
it's
it's
90.
then we go, yeah, he's like a 90-year-old in Fury Road. He's not a 90-year-old in Fury Road.
No. He might be immortal.
Right?
I'd really love that if the Mad Max universe was also the Fallout universe. Like, this is just what's happening in Australia. I'd love that. Because then you got, like, crazy Vault-Tec science bullshit and be like, yeah, Mel Gibson's, like, the Mad Max he was in stasis for 20 years. Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Why not?
Easy peasy. There's, oh man, another comment that I read was like, so what if his blood is like super powered? Because at the start of Fury Road, Nux is like anemic. Like he can't stand up. He's sick. He's ill. He can't go to war. And they transfuse some of Max's blood into Nux, and he turns into this like superhero, jumping between cars, shooting people in the face, totally fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting stuff. I also love the theory that in the Mad Max universe, it's just Australia where society collapsed, and the rest of the world is just like, eh.
Leave him.
Leave them. Let them do their own thing.
So, I'm gonna be honest. I like. It's been a while, but I have seen Fury Road. I did not realize that Tom Hardy's character was also the same person as Mel Gibson's Mad Max. Like I thought they
Right.
were different characters, both named
Ooh.
maybe Max, or if it
Just
was
different wanderers. Yeah.
yeah, or like because I don't think they ever call him Max in the movie
They sure do. He
They do.
identifies himself as Max. He doesn't
in
say very much.
in Fury
In
Road.
Fury Road. Yep. I saw the
okay.
clip today.
Okay, because
Yep.
like names feel superfluous in that society, you know, when you've got Smeg and Scrotus and Erectus, and they're like, "Hi, I'm Max."
But he's from the before time. He's an ancient. That's why he has a normal name and everyone else does.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I guess Joe's pretty normal.
Joe's, yeah.
Dementus is rad. I think that's a great.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do call
Anyway.
him the Road Warrior, so I guess that's more of his name.
Yeah.
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 Yep. All right. I gotta go. I've really now I'm just gonna go and watch all
Fury
of these.
Road.
No, all
Oh,
of them.
all of them. I know, right? Yeah. I
I don't-
don't know. I kind of hope they make more.
I don't think I've ever seen Beyond the Thunderdome, to be honest. All right. Well, yeah, more would be good.
Yeah.
From what I hear, Furiosa needs to like sell a couple more movie tickets before they can do that because
Yeah.
budget was 168 million, box office 116.
Is that as of today?
That's what Wikipedia says. I'm not sure how update that is.
Box Office Mojo says, yeah, you're right, 116 today. Man, I don't get it. Got Chris Hemsworth being all crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. When I went and saw it, honestly, I counted and there were maybe 7 people. I mean, it was on a Saturday afternoon. It was not good. Yeah. I don't know. Just for what they are, they're great. I like that a lot of the lore is just ad hoc. Like the thing with the deserted towns, a thing of money. They call gasoline guzzling in the newer ones, and that's because one of the actors in the original movies, thick Australian accent, and it sounded like guzzling. And they just went with it.
Yeah,
And I like it. I like that stuff.
it's good. Yeah,
Yeah. It's fun world building.
for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we never get another one. I think I'd be sad. These are interesting and fun.
I mean, yeah, yep.
All right, cool. I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to talk about with
No.
Furiosa?
I think that's about it. People should go watch it.
Yeah. I just need a scene where Morton Joe's like, "Where's my wife?" And they're like, "Actually, she's really capable at fixing stuff." And he's like, "Fine."
I'll be pragmatic about this one thing in my entire life.
Right.
Yep.
Nah. All right, cool. So that is going to be it from us today and this week. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. Broadcast live at twitch.tv/Somicron. You can support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron and by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. You can watch VODs at youtube.com/@Somicron. They do show up fairly quickly after the podcast ends. So, yeah, good guess there, Aki. And yeah, we'll be back next week talking about more StarCraft 2 and maybe some movies. And we will be talking about the Fear book that I just bought.
Fear to Tread.
Fear to Tread. That's the one. Another generic title for my Horus Heresy.
Is it generic?
It's more specific than Primarch. I'll give you that.
The Primarchs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time. Until then.